A trope can be defined as a recurring element or frequently used theme or motif. In this video, I will describe the 10 most common types of NBA player tropes within the National Basketball Association. The first type of NBA player is the stat padder. A stat padder is an NBA player who has really nice stats, but how they achieve those stats are a different story, and if you look at their win record or playoff history, you may start to notice that maybe their stats don't translate to wins. Now, a player can be known as a stat padder regardless of intent. Take, for example, Russell Westbrook. A lot of people think he purposely tries to get rebounds and assists in order to rack up triple-doubles. Whether this happens during the natural course of an NBA game, or if he's purposely trying to achieve individual records, is arbitrary to whether or not he will be perceived as a stat padder. The only way to undo the perception would be to win, and to win during the postseason. Stat padding isn't always about scoring. It could happen for assists and rebounds, and some other players who have been given this label are Rajon Rondo, in transition choosing to wait to get an assist instead of an easy layup, Andre Drummond missing potentially on purpose to inflate his rebounding numbers, and Ricky Davis, who infamously tried to get a triple-double when his team had a 25-point lead and just 6 seconds left in the game. He missed on purpose in order to get a rebound, but the NBA rejected his attempt and did not count this rebound. The second type of NBA player trope is the ring chaser. Ring chasers come in many different calibers, from veteran role players who join successful teams at the end of their career in order to get a ring, one major example being Maurice Spates joining the Warriors at the end of his career, or even the glove Gary Payton joining the Lakers then Heat to try to get a ring during the end of his career. Ring chasers could also be high caliber franchise players like Kevin Durant and LeBron James, leaving their original drafted teams to join or form super teams somewhere else. An important note is that success does not determine whether you get the title of ring chaser. There are many failed ring chasers throughout NBA history, like Karl Malone joining the 2004 Lakers, only to be embarrassed by the Pistons. Some other examples of ring chasers are Ray Allen joining the Miami Heat after he lost to them in the previous playoff series on the Celtics, Charles Barkley joining the Rockets but not being able to win a title with Hakeem Olajuwon, and Steve Nash, who joined the Lakers with Dwight Howard back in 2012-2013. Obviously, that super team was not a success. Ball hogs are NBA players who have possession of the ball for the majority of the game. They are isolation scorers and volume shooters. These players can sometimes be confused with stat padders, and sometimes they can be both a ball hog and a stat padder, but the key difference between the two types is that a ball hog is specifically an isolation scorer. They know they are isolation scorers. Their coaches and GMs set up entire team offenses, defenses, and game plans to cater to their talent of isolation scoring. The word ball hog usually has negative connotation, but honestly, if the team is specifically set up for this on purpose, I don't see it as a bad thing to criticize the individual player. A major example of this is Allen Iverson, who back in the early 2000s had an entire team of elite defenders to surround him. Allen Iverson being a ball hog was by design, with the entire offense basically being AI or bust. And this team almost worked, as he was able to lift the 76ers to an NBA Finals only to lose to the Lakers in 5. But if you were to look at the glass half full, that was the only team to ever beat that Lakers squad within that postseason. That was a true Lakers super team. Some other players who have been given the label of ball hog are Carmelo Anthony, Gilbert Arenas, and Monte Ellis. Memes. Meme players are kind of a wild card. Sometimes they become memes for off-the-court antics like Kai Jones. Sometimes they are memes because of their nickname, physical appearance, or personality like Bryant Scalabrine. And sometimes they are memes because of a long list of on-the-court bloopers during games such as J.R. Smith, Lance Stevenson, and JaVale McGee. Some NBA players embrace their meme status, like say Bryant Scalabrine, and some NBA players are completely indifferent to the meme culture surrounding them, like Kawhi Leonard, who pays no attention to the cyborg or robot comparisons and is programmed to stay locked in and focused on the game. I want to make it clear, being a meme is not exactly the same as being a complete joke. By meme, I mean the direct meaning as mimetic, for a player to set a trend or grow in popularity based on said mimetic trend. I think this can be an achievement, although sometimes I do agree that trends can be set in both a negative or positive light. Villains. NBA villains are players that you love to hate. They are notorious NBA players that get jeers during every away game and are only cheered in their home arena, and even that's not a guarantee. They can become infamous for a number of reasons. Maybe they left their home team to form a super team on live television at the bitter end of the NBA offseason. Maybe they're known for playing dirty during games. Maybe they get too many technicals and are very vocal in their playstyle. Maybe they act like that one character from Family Guy. Whatever the reason is, NBA villains, so long as they are villains for non-illegal reasons, are essential to the competitive dynamic of having NBA rivalries. Be a heel, but don't be evil. Another unique aspect of being an NBA villain is that some players aren't villains for their whole career. Maybe they just have a temporary villain arc, like say Miami Heat LeBron James, who returned to his hero status when he returned back to Cleveland. You can't have villains without heroes. NBA heroes are players you like or respect even if they beat your favorite team. They're usually just great guys who you can easily imagine helping an old lady cross the street and act like a Boy Scout. They are good sportsmen and they try their best to always play fair and fundamental. Players that fit this category are Tim Duncan, Mike Conley, Luol Deng, Steph Curry, and Dirk Nowitzki. Goons. NBA Goons are kinda like NBA villains, and there's a lot of crossover here, but Goons specifically are on the roster to do one thing: beat up, physically attack, or injure an opposing team's player. For whatever the reason, maybe it's for revenge, maybe they were being trash-talked, or maybe it's out of pure malice. Some classic Goons include Mo the Enforcer Lucas, Larry Mr. Mean Smith, and Bill the Prince of Darkness Lambeer. Some more modern NBA Goons include Zaza Pacheep Shot Pachulia, Draymond Mean Green, and we can't forget the mighty elbow of Mr. Artest. One-trick ponies are NBA players that are really good at one thing, but forgettable on everything else. Most one-trick ponies are three-point specialists. Some examples include Troy Daniels and Steve Kerr being three-point specialists, but not all one-trick ponies are just three-point shooters. For example, Joel Anthony is really good at defending the pick and roll, but that's about it. Tristan Thompson is really good at rebounding, but still getting out-rebounded by Steph Curry in the finals. But that's a story for a different day. NBA drama queens. These are the type of players that act like they're on a Broadway show whenever they get a foul call that they did not agree with. They act like it's the end of the world if their opponent now has to shoot 2 free throws. And last, but certainly not least, we have NBA GOATs. NBA GOATs are the greatest this game has ever seen. From generational legends like Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James, to GOATs of positions like Tim Duncan being the greatest power forward ever. GOATs of specific categories like Steph Curry being one of the greatest shooters ever, Magic Johnson being one of the best passers ever, and Vince Carter being one of the best dunkers ever. Explaining the GOAT is the easiest to explain but the hardest to achieve. Mount Rushmore only has 4 spots, yet I can easily name 10 different NBA players who could easily make a great case for each spot. The NBA has a lot of talent, but technically only one can truly be the greatest of all time. So here were 10 common NBA player tropes. These aren't all of them, so if you want to see a part 2 where I cover more tropes, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to dunk on that like button and subscribe with notifications turned on. I'm Rebound Rewind, and I'll fast forward to you later.